welcome to Sarah's Stampin' Retreat. Today I'll be showing you 5 ways to create cards using this gorgeous Blackberry Beauty Suite. So you can see there's quite a few ideas here in the catalogue anyway, and I'll be creating 5 more using this suite. So let me just show you the elements of the suite up close. So we've got the Beauty of Tomorrow stamp set, so you've got the bird, the foliage, some splatters, and then we've got I'm Here For You. Some people are just likeable, you're one of those people. I know this is a difficult day, and the changing of leaves reminds us that new wonders are just around the corner. So that's a really cute stamp set. And then that coordinates with this die set. So you've got this really big foliage die, a couple of the smaller oak leaves, another couple of oak leaves in here, and then you've got the bird that cuts out this, you've got this piece that cuts out that, and then you've got this piece that cuts out that. So then we've got the ephemera pack. So you get 2 sheets of this with the owl and the foliage. You get 1 of these sheets because you get 2 of everything on this sheet, and then you get 2 of these sheets with the gold and the white. And then finally we've got the paper pack. So you can see I've got a couple of half sheets in here because I've used so much of this paper because it's absolutely gorgeous. But you do actually get 2 full sheets of each of these patterns. So you get 12 sheets in all of 12 by 12. So you've got this nice bird one with that on the back. You've got this one with a lot of gold foiling on it with this on the back. You've got the oak leaves with this on the back. You've got this piece here with this on the back. So you can see there's gold foiling on one side and like a kind of a flat pattern on the other side. So then we've got this with this on the back. And then we've got the owls with this on the back. So it's a really beautiful pack. So to start off with, I've got a 5-inch square rich raspberry card blank. Then I've cut this, which is the big foliage die, and I use that to cut out of gold foil sheet. Then this is one of the frames from the ephemera pack, and then I've got a 3 1/4 inch square piece of rich raspberry cardstock, which I'm going to just stamp one of the sentiments onto. So I've got this large sentiment. The changing of leaves reminds us that new ones are just around the corner, and I'm going to heat emboss that with gold embossing powder. So I'm going to use my Versamark ink to stamp it onto the square, and then I'm going to cover that in gold embossing powder, and then I'm going to heat that with my heat tool and melt the embossing powder. So here's my sentiment. You can see how nicely that really fine embossing powder sits on that sentiment because it's a really fine sentiment. So then, because I want a nice crisp finish to this, and where I've heat embossed this, you can see it's just bowed slightly. I'm going to use a piece of foam sheet rather than the foam pads to pop under there. And I'm going to pop that on the back of there, and that will help to make that nice and flat. And then I'm going to just pop a little bit of glue around this frame, and then I can glue that onto my sentiment. And then I'm going to glue this big piece of foliage onto the card front. Then I'm just going to add this over the top of the leaves. And then I've got some of these oak leaves, so I've cut them using these from gold foil sheet. So I could just do all 4 with one pass through the machine because I've got 4 dies. And then I'm just going to glue these around this frame. I might even actually stick a dimensional under this one. I've got this piece here, so I'm just going to cut an edge off this. And then I'm just going to glue this last one just under here. So we've got our first card completed. So then for my second card, I've got an A6 cinnamon cider card blank. So that measures 8 1/4 by 5 7/8 inches, and that's scored and folded in half. And then I've taken some of these elements from the gold and white ephemera sheet. So that's this one here. And then I'm also going to use this from the frame sheet. So then I'm going to use my cinnamon cider ink, and I'm going to stamp "I'm here for you" onto this piece here. Then I'm going to use the same ink to stamp this large sentiment that we used for the last card onto here. And I'm not too worried that you can't properly see the text where it covers that, because the "I'm here for you" is the bit that I really want to stand out. So then I'm going to use this absolutely gorgeous gold ribbon that comes as part of the set as well to just tie a bow through here. So I'll just trim that off there. So then I'm just laying out my pieces on here so I can see what it's going to look like. So then I'm going to use the splodge stamp, and I'm just going to pop a few splodges in Versamark ink across the card blank. And I'm going to pour my gold embossing powder on. And then I'm going to just pop this in the middle, so I've got it where I want it. And I would usually do this with a pencil, but I'm doing it with a pen so you can see. I'm just drawing kind of just under the edge there. I'm going to do that in on each side, just so that when I'm laying out the pieces that are going to go underneath, then I know where I want the pieces to go. So you can see those are my lines, and then I can stick the other pieces on knowing where that is going to be. So I'm going to take this strip of gold foil sheet, turn it over and cut that off, and then I'm going to glue this on as well. Then I'm going to pop some dimensionals on the back of there. Then I can put it on. I can use the marks I made as guides to make sure it goes back in the same place, because we don't want any of those marks showing. Though obviously you would have done yours in pencil probably, so it wouldn't matter then because you could rub them out. And then I'm going to pop this on here. So I'm going to use dimensionals again. And then on this end I'm going to double them up because that piece is going to go on the card and the other end's going to be higher, so you need double the height on that end. And I think I'm going to take one of these gilded gems, one of the big ones, and I'm just going to pop that big one in that bottom corner there. So that's the second card finished. So then for my third card, I've got a 5x5 inch Blackberry Bliss card blank, and then I've got this piece that is 4 1/8 inches square, and I'm going to make a bit of a kind of tiled effect with this. So I'm going to cut this at 1 3/8, and again at 1 3/8. That's just an 1/8 and a 1 1/2. And then I'm going to cut all these pieces at the same size, so they're all getting cut up into 1 3/8 inch pieces. So it's just that 1/8 of an inch mark under the 1 1/2 inch mark. So I'm just going to lay those out on my card front. And then once I'm happy with the amount of border I've got, then I'm going to stick it down. Then I'm going to heat emboss the, I know this is a difficult day, stamps onto a spare piece of Blackberry Bliss cardstock. Let's just pop that in my watermark ink, my Versamark. Pop this on here. And I'm going to heat emboss it in gold again, so I'm just going to pour my gold over here. And then I can just heat emboss that. So I'm just going to cut that down. Then I'm going to pop some dimensionals behind my sentiment. And then I'm just going to centre this on this set of 4 here. And I'm just going to pop some dimensionals behind my owl as well. So this owl is from the Ephemera pack. I might use a few more of these gorgeous gilded gems on here. These gilded gems are some of my favourite embellishments at the moment. I really love them. Let's pop on there. Then there's our finished card. Then for my next card, I'm going to use the foliage from the stamp set and my Blackberry Bliss ink, and I'm just going to stamp some foliage along the bottom of my Petal Pink card. So this is an A6 card blank. So then I've got the frame from my Ephemera pack, and I've cut a piece of Petal Pink cardstock so that it's just smaller than the frame. And then I'm going to stamp this. I know this is a difficult day. Just onto here. So I'm going to use Blackberry Bliss ink just to stamp the bird onto this piece of Petal Pink cardstock. And I'm going to use my die cutting machine just to cut that out using the coordinating die. So then I'm going to pop a bit of glue around this. And then I can pop my frame in there. And then I'm just going to pop this on here with a dimensional too. And then we've got this cute card here. And then for my final card, I've got a Blackberry Bliss DL card. So that's 7 3/4 inches by 8 1/4 inches, scored and folded in half. And then this piece is 1.5 inches by 8 1/4 inches with the DSP. And then this is 2 3/8 by 8 1/4 inches. I'm just going to glue those onto my card front. And then I've got a thin strip, probably about 1/4 inch wide, of gold foil sheet, and I'm just going to glue that across the join line in those two pieces of paper. And then I've just taken some of the circles from our set of layering circles dies, so you get the scallops and the kind of smooth edge ones. So I've taken a couple of the smooth edge ones and I've just cut one out of the DSP and one a size bigger out of gold foil sheet. So I'm going to glue those two pieces together. And then I'm going to take my early espresso ink and my bird again. And I'm just going to stamp that onto a piece of basic white cardstock. I'm just going to use the coordinating die to cut it out. So then I'm going to use my early espresso ink just to stamp "I'm here for you" on this piece from the ephemera pack. And then I'm going to layer it up on here. And put it all up on dimensionals. And I'll glue this on here. And then I'll pop dimensionals behind that "I'm here for you." And there's our finished card. So let's bring the rest of the cards in. So there are all of our completed projects today. I really hope that you enjoyed them. If you did, I'd appreciate you clicking like below, and you can also press subscribe if you'd like to see future videos. If you press the bell button and select all, then YouTube will also notify you when there's a new video available. All of the products that we've used for today's cards are listed in the description below, with links to buy them, and there's also a host code there, so if you pop the host code into your basket before you check out, then I'll send you a free gift after the end of the month. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.